I tabled the fact of putting the cute little flower pots on the outside of the garage and outside the door because wasps are outside going crazy. And some other bugs. I don't know if it's a wasp. I don't know if it's a horsefly. I don't know. But I hear buzzing and I lose my freaking mind. So anyway, I'm going to wait until it's either raining, then they don't come out. Or if when the fall comes or, do something like that, then I'll take care of getting it all nice out there. I am like totally done with messing with the outside of the cabins. There's a lot I do want to do because the other cabin, I want to touch up the orange paint and all of that, but I can't do anything out there. Not with the buzzing around when I don't know if it's a wasp ready to sting me or if it's a horsefly. They're innocent, but well, not horseflies, but the dragonflies are innocent, but it's just too much going on out there. So I'm going to stay my butt right in here because fall and spring, those are basically my seasons. I don't really mess with the summertime at the cabin. I like it. It's pretty, but I usually hang out inside the cabin when it's summer, but I don't mess with that outside. I'm sorry. I just can't deal with them bugs and stuff. So I do love the cabin. I love looking at the nature, but you know what? I could peer at the nature through the windows with my glass of wine in my hand, and enjoying all of this is much better for me. More like it. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. So I did paint, and you can see where I did the touch-ups. So I took care of that, all the stains that was there. I still got to go over it again, but that is good. I just wanted to get that staining and stuff taken care of. So that is done in this area. And then I'm going to show you what I did in the back bedroom. I'm going to have my boyfriend and my son come up here because I tried to take up this carpet. The people that had this cabin before glued the carpet down. It's ridiculous. Instead of tacking it down like normal people do, they glued it down. I don't know if they thought this carpet was going to be here forever. I absolutely hate carpet inside homes and cabins. I don't like it. It's gross. So I want to take this stuff completely out. I'm okay if, because my kids like carpet, I'm okay with getting like the tile carpet where you can pull it out and replace it if it's, one of the carpet squares are bad. But this is just too much. It's got to go. But anyway, let me show you what I tried to do. I tried to pull this up and this thing is glued. It's just ridiculous. It's going to take some time, but I need to get this all rolled up and just the hell up out of here. So that way, when I'm starting to work on my house and getting the dumpster at the house, I can at least have something to throw this crap away. So I'm trying to work simultaneously, save myself some money. So when I start, cleaning out my basement at the house and I order that big dumpster, I can bring all this crap up there and throw it in the dumpster at my house. And it'll save me some money. But anyway, in here, the stains. Excuse me. My puppies follow me everywhere. I took care of these. There's still some you can still see, but I took care of it. Got rid of that. And I got to go over it again. But I just wanted to get rid of that dark staining. And here too, you can still see the outline. I got to finish that. Take care of that as well. But for the most part, I'm making some progress on this room. Move stuff around, move stuff out. I got pictures I want to hang up. I got a lot I got to do. And then we got to tackle that bathroom. So there's a lot to be done in here. But I'm the woman for the job. It's not going to take long. It's just I got to have the time and the patience to do it. And I don't have a lot of time. And definitely don't have a lot of patience. Not today. Not with my animals here visiting me. But anyway, there's a lot that I wanted to cover and talk to you guys about. About cabins and owning a cabin and what I prefer. I know I try to touch on that in previous videos. And it's easier sometimes said than done. But I was watching have you guys heard of Mr. Ramsay? I don't know if I'm gonna say his right name, but he's the financial guy, Mr. Ramsey. And there was an episode with this guy saying that he wants to buy a vacation home, him and his wife, and they have their down payment and blah blah blah. And he was like, "Oh hell no, don't do that. Absolutely not. Because if you have to put a down payment, you got to finance it. You can't afford to have a vacation home." And in a lot of ways, I agree with him. But we know the average person just don't have $100,000 and $200,000 laying around. So after that episode, and I watched it and heard his advice, because to me, he's saying that advice, and it's true, but it's easier said than done. So I said, let me check this man out a little bit. So I went and Googled him a little bit, and I said, put in, what does his house look like? What does his vacation house look like? They showed this big $10 million house. It was crazy. So of course, he can say that. Now, it's said that he didn't have any money, and just his expertise and his smarts over time, that's what happened. So I was listening to that episode when he was telling that guy not to finance a cabin. If you can't afford to buy it, he saved up and he paid for his. And he said his was just a raggedy cabin. But it was something because they wanted something different from home. They like to go to the lake, so they did that. And he said over 25 years, they worked on this cabin and tore it down, rebuilt, and it just became something extremely incredible. I can relate to that because that's kind of how I started. You know, I bought the land and then we renovated it. And I'm seeing pictures go through that I posted like 5 years ago on Facebook when we did that and we renovated it. And here we are. So, and look at where we've accomplished. And this cabin, seems like every time we do this, it gets better and better. Because this cabin, we put this in this time last year. And we had so much to do. When I first got it, it was so much junk. You remember those videos? And if you haven't seen them, go back and watch them. When it was on the other land and we was ready to move it and what it looked like. It was hideous. And my kids were like, "Are you kidding me, Mom? You really gonna do this? This is terrible." But because I went to interior design school, because I love decorating and all of that, I could see the potential. And I know what to look at as far as the good bones and stuff, blah, 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 whatever. That serves to me as an advantage. And so I was able to get this here. So much that could have happened because this is a 1976 cabin. I was only 5 years old when this cabin was built. I'm 50. So, but they got it here. And when the movers got it here and no siding came off and nothing fell off and nothing really shifted, I knew that this was the cabin. Now, I knew there was some things that we would probably have to work on and repair, and cosmetically, we did have to do that. Especially we painted the whole outside. My daughter had helped me with that. Watch that video. But over time, over this whole year's process, and then we didn't even come up here during the winter, not much. I came up here one time, I think maybe twice, but we didn't come up much. So with what we had to work with and how far it has came, I am so pleased. And I know that as the years go by, I'm going to be able to accomplish more and more with this cabin because that's just the kind of person I am. That's what I do. I like decorating and redesigning and revamping things and making old things new again. I sometimes feel like the old things are more of a treasure than sometimes the new things. And so I really enjoy that. And I like preserving stuff. And so that's why we're here. And that's where we're at. And some people say, "Oh, a trailer. This is a mobile home trailer that I refer to as a cabin," because a cabin can be anything. People use all sorts of things: tiny houses, trailers, everything, anything, sheds for cabins. This to me is a cabin because it's a cabin. But we're making it into something so much more that by the time I'm all finished with everything, you won't even know it's a trailer. It won't even look like what it started. The other thing is, don't ever be discouraged if you're thinking of going the trailer way. The only reason why I went that way, there's 3 reasons. The first one, taxes. If it's still on wheels, they cannot tax you like they do a regular home. So that's a plus. The second thing is the plumbing, the electricity, all that stuff is already in and pre-wired. You don't have to do that stuff from scratch. You might have to repair it if you do like I did and get something old, but that's okay. Repairing it versus putting that stuff in is going to save you so much money. So that's the second reason. And the third reason, it's so much more inexpensive with something like this. I swear, I probably with taxes, insurance, all of that, all year round, I probably pay for both cabins and lands that I own, and I own that land outright. Make sure you own your land outright. I pay probably less than $5,000 a year to maintain them both. And that's worth it. So everything that I do as far as decorative, hanging a fireplace, TV, all of that stuff, that is all an asset to me because it's all mine. It's not something that somebody can just easily take away from me unless I just forget and don't pay my taxes. But damn, my taxes is only $150 every 6 months. Like, come on, pay that. That's not hard. So those kind of things makes it all the worth doing something like this and paying it cash and paying it outright or finding a deal or figuring out a way to make it work because it's a lot up front, but in the end, it pays off and it feels good. Now, my house, I haven't really did everything I want to do to my house. I'm reluctant to do loans and pour money into that because it's not really all mine. The bank is tied to that house. So push come to shove, if I can't make a payment or whatever, the bank is going to get theirs. It's going to go back to theirs. And then I'm totally assed out. So I don't feel like even though I mortgaged and financed it and whatever, and it's technically on the books, my house, I don't feel like it's really mine. I feel like this land, this cabin, the other cabin I have, those are mine. Those are actually mine because I paid cash for them. I'm not paying a monthly payment. I don't owe anybody for them. They are actually mine. So I feel good about that. And everything that I do up here, I feel like it's worth it. A lot of people can't grasp that and can't grasp their head around it because they wouldn't do it. And this is not what they would prefer. But if it's not what you prefer and you have to finance something, that's probably not for you. Because in the end, when years and years go by, even if it gets to the point where I can't afford, I lose my jobs, if that happened, and I can't afford $1,100 a month mortgage payment, that's what my mortgage payment is. And it is cheap because I also finance, when I financed the house, I didn't take the mortgage loan that they wanted me to have. I did what I felt that I could afford. So even if I had to work a McDonald's job and flip burgers, I wanted to make sure I could still make my mortgage payment. But that's besides the point. It's still a 30-year loan. And am I even going to live that long? I don't know. So to me, I don't feel like that's totally my house unless I own it. I feel like this is mine. The other cabin is mine. This is my land. And if push come to shove and I had to make this home temporarily, I could do that. I also have an RV. I haven't used it in a while, but I did pay cash for it and it's mine. And if I had to make that home for a while, I can do that. I'm going to tell you, I work in senior living right now as a family advisor. I did get a new job, so I'll be leaving that position. But as a family advisor, I'm talking to a lot of people that are in financial crisis because of this whole COVID situation and everything happening. And it is very, very stressful. I'm talking to seniors that's in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they are contemplating on leaving their mortgage situation because their mortgage payment is taking all of their Social Security. They have no means to be able to work. It's so discriminatory out here that you can't even get a job or hold down a decent job, and they pick and choose who they want to hire and not hire. So these people are using everything they got to try to maintain a house that can eventually go back to a bank if they don't take care of it. And I'll tell you a little story in a minute, a quick short story. But anyway, so they're contemplating on mobile homes now. And they're contemplating on, should I buy an RV and just live in that? A lot of them are moving to warmer climates. Why? Because they can buy an RV, they can buy a mobile home, and they can live comfortable for the rest of their lives. And that's what they're doing. Now, at 50, I learned from those people. And I'm doing this stuff early on in life so that way the rest of the life can be comfortable so that I can actually retire and do my food trailer and do all of that stuff. And I bought that food trailer a long time ago and everyone's like, when are you going to get it started? But truly, I bought it as a retirement plan, backup plan. And it was only like $2,000. So I bought it right away. I'm not totally done with it. There's a lot we got to do to finish, but I still have it. So in the future, when I decide, hey, I'm putting a halt, I'm tired of everything, I'm going off grid and I'm being away from all of that, I can still do that. So, and I am also thinking about doing this again, Maybe not just like this. I might do it a little differently, but doing this again in another state. I'm thinking the state next door, like Wisconsin, change of scenery. So 3 cabins. Hey, an RV, I'm good. And a food truck, I'm good. So that's what I'm thinking about. Those are just some thoughts that I was having. But anyway, the short story that I wanted to tell you about is there's a lady. She was in her 80s and she got behind on her mortgage payment due to COVID. And the bank wanted to kick her out and going to take her house. So a guy came along and offered to buy the house for $50,000. The family did the research. The house is actually worth $150,000, but she owed the bank like $20,000 or $25,000. So she took the man's offer and he gave her $50,000. She had to take half of that $50,000 and pay off that debt and loan to the bank. And then she kept $25,000 and she's figuring out how she's going to live the rest of her life on $25,000. And guess what? That man who had saved that $50,000 in his bank has a $150,000 asset. He actually made $100,000 just in that deal alone with this lady. But that is what I'm talking about. Those little details and those little things are about playing your cards right, doing things. It's all about timing and it's all about doing things the way you need to do them. I know that I have these big dreams too. I used to think about, I want to get an A-frame and have that built on some land. And that all sounds nice, but I don't have no A-frame money. I'm going to be honest with you. And I've been through some twists and turns with this whole COVID situation, losing jobs, gaining jobs, working from home, thinking I was in a great job. And then it turned out not to be a great job. And now I have another job and it's more of a, spiritual and religious company. And I'm happy because I love that. And I'm excited about my new job, especially with gas prices going high. I'm going to get a company car and they're going to pay for the gas. And it all sounds wonderful. And I'm hoping and praying that it's as wonderful and it stays as wonderful as it sounds. But you always have to have a backup plan and always have to have a plan B just in case. And to me, this is my plan B. And this is why I come up here. This is why I make so many cabin videos. And I'm talking about the cabin because hopefully some of this will rub off on you guys and I can encourage you to make your dreams happen and come true. And if you're thinking about it, saying, that's what I want to do, that's what I might want to do, go ahead and do it. If you have that extra money in your pocket and say, I got $5,000, but I want to pay my credit cards off and do this, all you're going to do is charge them up again. And you're going to be right back in the same boat. Take $2,000 of that money or half of the money that you got and go ahead and buy you some land. Because land, even if you don't put anything on it right away, it's always going to appreciate. And it's always going to work in your favor because you can always sell that later and get all your money back and some. It can work. My kids said that to me. Mom, why don't we did all this to the land and it's worth so much more now. It's worth probably triple. Hey, leave them alone. My cat and dog likes to play, so I'm sorry about that. Leave him alone. Stop. And Tigger likes to talk back. This is Tigger. And he's something. But anyway, I even forgot where I was talking about. These animals, they drive me crazy. They're like my kids, I tell you. When the kids moved out of the house, I ended up getting the pets in their place. But anyway, I love my animals. But I just wanted to say, if you guys have that hopes and dreams and say this is stuff that you want to do, take that leap of faith and go ahead and do it. My hope and dream is I'm going to be able to travel and I'm going to start doing that for my birthday. I have some plans this year, but now that I'm done with all of this, that's great. And then my kids and my grandkids, hey, this is for them to come and enjoy and visit and whatever. And then when I'm ready, I can come up here and enjoy it and visit. It's for everybody to use. I don't mind. Because that is what I have it for. This is all a part of my plan and leaving a legacy for my family. Because I need to do that for my family and being an encouragement for my family. And I hope that my kids, my grandkids will do it up and do it even bigger and better than me. That is A-okay and that's great. Oh, reminded me. Speaking of kids. So my son was like, hey, Mom, why don't we just sell it? Get some more money and then we can buy this and just keep. No. You know why I don't want to do that? Is because all the sweat equity and love that was put into this from my son working so hard and everybody coming up here and doing things, that means something to me. And so years to come, I'm going to have stories to tell. And my kids are going to have stories to tell to their kids or their great grandkids or their grandkids and say, you know what, that trailer right there, that's sitting right there, that still looks good and nice that we use as a cabin, I helped my mom paint that. So that's the stories. I love the stories. I love the history. And it didn't take us anything to be able to do that. Only thing that we had to sacrifice in doing this is time, money. Yeah, money, but it's okay. That was money well spent, in my opinion. It wasn't, I didn't have anything to lose for that. So anyway, I am talking and rambling on, and I want to get you some pictures. So I'm going to take some pictures and I'm going to end this video. So keep watching. More video footage coming up.